Steph and LeBron bless us with another classic. Ja Morant can't help but be Ja Morant. And as Kevin Durant rumors continue to fly, questions about Mike Budenholzer's future in Phoenix are suddenly in play. That's all today on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free. We are available wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. I'm Doug Branson, host of Locked On Hornets, and your Shot Clock Sherpa, guiding you through the NBA's biggest stories every day with the help of Locked On's local experts. And with me are two of Locked On's premier national NBA experts from the Locked On Nuggets podcast and senior writer for the Action Network. He's our man of 1,000 podcast. It's Matt Moore. Matt, Giannis became the first player in NBA history to score 35 points, grab 15 rebounds, and have 20 assists. Actually, he had 17 rebounds, but 15 or more. How shocked were you to find out that Nikola Jokic had not done this already?
I was a little surprised. I was like, really? Jokic hasn't it? But that 20 assist mark is really difficult to get. That is so many assists. It's such an insane number to get 20 assists in a game. And that's, I think, a really underrated part of what Giannis is capable of doing. And it's a good reminder without Dame out of if Dame wasn't on that team, Giannis's numbers would be comparable up there with these other guys that we talk about with Luka and with Jokic. That's how much of an engine Giannis is. And he's honestly having one of his best seasons. It's a shame the Bucks haven't been able to put enough momentum around him for them to be a real contender this season because he's been amazing.
You're right, and it's super weird that at this point in Giannis's career and how great of a season he's having, that the two big storylines for him are mid-range jump shots and his playmaking ability. That's just, I don't think those are things that are immediately associated with his greatness. From the Locked On Bulls podcast, we've got the Prince of Petty, Haize. Haize, speaking of amazing, outstanding, breathtaking Lakers-Warriors last night, did it deliver everything you wanted out of an NBA regular season game?
Absolutely, it did. I think that it was better than I was giving either team credit for, and I think it just adds to how both these teams, I need them to play in the first round. I think it'll be a great first round series.
He needs it. He needs it. All right, we need to hear from the winners of this game. The Golden State Warriors defeat the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's let the winners take the spoils. Here's Locked On Warriors with their analysis.
The Warriors were able to withstand every single storm that the Lakers threw at them. Until the very final whistle, they answered the bell. They went into this game with a loss. They would have been all the way down to 8th in the standings. Now they're a game back of 4th. This was a massive game and one that the Warriors came to play. Curry was the star of the show with 37, 13 of 14 from the line. He was getting there. He was foul baiting hard on that 3 for a stretch.
The lack of Anthony Davis really changes things for how the Warriors are able to attack the Lakers, and that allowed them to get into the paint tonight. It got Steph to the line over and over again, and I think once they get that going, then the threes fall a little easier.
All right, Matt, what should people take away from this game? Did the Warriors prove that they are a tough matchup for the Lakers, or did you see anything that would indicate that they are going to be a tough out in general?
I mean, I think the big key here is if the Warriors can just get 28 points from Brandon Podziemski every single game, they're going to be in a great spot. I think that's really the key here is if they can just get Brandon Podziemski to score 28. Okay. Lakers defense is a problem. Lakers defense is a real problem. They targeted Luka Doncic. They were absolutely able to run over that second unit with their depth. This is one of the things is the Lakers are a lot more variable right now. They don't have their floor isn't as solid as you would want for a team in their position, in part because they made this huge trade and they haven't been able to make the moves around them. That'll change this summer, but right now their ceiling's very high. Their floor is very low. They got a negative net rating with the big 3 on court, Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luka. That's a yikes. The defense is absolutely with Luka on the court last night. They gave him a 140 defensive rating. Holy God. That's worrisome as well. And you looked at it in this game. JJ Redick has to play guys that might not be ready for this kind of situation. He has to play guys that this moment might be a little bit too big for, versus the Warriors get to play guys like Quentin Post. They get to play guys like Buddy Hield for 12 minutes. They get to play guys like Kevon Looney. Like, they can rotate through, and their floor is high enough for them to be okay. But this was an offensive game, Haize, and it does kind of show you that the Warriors have a lot of firepower behind them. That's maybe the most encouraging thing, is the Warriors offense has been mediocre for much of the season, even after the Jimmy trade, and they lit up LA.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors are really good. Like, I really like how good the Warriors can be, especially in the playoff setting. I just think that the roster they have, the balance that they have, of course, coaching, they could be really good. The Lakers, I know I've been a guy that I've said that before, like, I don't know how far the Lakers can go. I think there's this common thing when the Lakers play really good or have a really good game, people get way high up on them and talk about, like, oh, they're a team that could go this far, this far. When they have a bad game, people are like, oh, well, they're not going to make it far. Like, they're an okay team. I think they're at a similar level of the Golden State Warriors, and that's why I do think that it's going to be a fun first-round series if they come. I think the Warriors have a higher ceiling, personally, because I think they have a more offense-defensive balance that I trust more at more levels. But, you know, overall, like, this was a very fun game. I love the coaching in both. I think Steve Kerr and JJ did amazing jobs coaching in this game, and the Golden State Warriors pulled it out. But I can't say that would happen if it was a 7-game series. So,
Doug, like, they closed the game really well, right? They closed awesome. Like, Steph made a dagger. Pajemski had a dagger late in that game. I thought that their late game execution was really sharp. But, like, am I overreacting to the fact where I look at this game and I go, okay, you lost the Steph minutes by 1, but you lost the Steph minutes. You lost the Jimmy Butler minutes. You won the Draymond minutes by 4. This is mostly the bench. Like, am I overreacting to be like, I don't really want to take that much away from this, because it was the performance of Pajemski and getting 18 off the bench from Kuminga that really kind of boosted them. And those aren't guys that are going to play as much in a playoff series relative to the Lakers, who most of their guys, not Luka, but most of their guys won their minutes, and they're going to play more in a playoff series. Am I overreacting there?
No, I don't think so. I think your firepower point, that the Warriors have more firepower now than maybe they've had in previous matchups with the Lakers, is a point that Locked On Warriors went into on their episode. And I mean, you just look at the bench numbers for LA, and it was 2 points from Vanderbilt, 2 points from Jackson Haize, 3 from Gabe Vincent, and 2 from Dorian Finney-Smith. That's it. Everything else was the 4 starters. So some offensive questions certainly for LA, and some of those offensive questions and defensive questions are swirling around Luka Doncic. That was a topic of conversation on Locked On Lakers. Let's listen to that.
We're talking about the guy that is, as JJ Redick said, the number one conveyor of offense, the guy that is going to be controlling the offense the most, the guy that is, even as the shot disbursement, and this is a good thing, the allocations of shots has started to even out a bit more. When it's not falling for Luka, you just feel it across the entire offense.
It needs to get better. Personally, I don't think he's healthy. He finished the game the other night with like a big wrap around his elbow. I don't think this is an issue of, you know, he's not trying. He's suddenly, you know, deeply flawed as a player. He's exactly the same guy that has been dominant in the league. I just don't think he's healthy. And it's one of the reasons I really am disappointed they weren't able to win this game, because it makes it harder to sit everybody Friday night against the Pelicans. And like, that's a game you ought to be able to win.
All right, so Haize, your thoughts on Luka Doncic's performance in this one? He does score 19 points, but it came on 35% shooting from the field, and the Warriors, I mean, they relentlessly attacked him on defense, particularly Steph Curry. That was part of the reason that he had so many free throws in this game. Is there an answer for the Lakers other than hope that Luka can get healthy before the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want health before the playoffs. That's the key thing in there. But you're gonna want, like, what you got from Austin Reeves today. Like, I want to be clear, what they got with Luka only scoring 19 points, with the 33 from LeBron, 31 from Austin Reeves. You're gonna win a lot of games if you're able to do that, right? So I don't think they need to like have an overcorrection to it or whatever. Like, I know that when LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka on the court, I believe they have a negative net rating, but like, they can balance things out enough. I think the key thing is like, how good are they defensively? The Warriors, they attack them defensively. So that's going to be the thing that differentiate whatever happens in the first round series. Do they have a team that can attack their defense in the right way? Luka's going to have his games, but I think they have enough firepower to beat most teams.
Locked On Lakers kind of referenced this. I saw some tweets last night from Lakers fans that said, we don't have to just do this ISO switch hunting thing. It's not really working. You should go to something else. Get ready to learn Luka ball, my friend, because that's what it's like. That's life with Luka Doncic. Okay. This is what he wants to do. And the Mavs had to work on him constantly to get him to play a little off ball with Kyrie. And when they did, the offense, that was why they made the finals. That was why when they played this season, the Mavericks really did look like a contender. Was Luka was playing more off ball and more in a synergistic offense. That's not gonna be the case here, man. He's just gonna ISO switch hunt every single time, and he'll either make the shots or he doesn't, and you're just gonna have to live with it. And versus a team who is please let us switch. Please, that's all we want to do is switch. In the Warriors, they gave up switches with Jonathan Kuminga. They gave him switches with Quentin Post and were effective. And you're gonna be oh, come on, Luka's gonna beat those switches more often than not. Maybe, but those attempts are inherently lower points per possession marks. And it creates a real problem, I think, for this matchup. I'm going to be fascinated if this is the 4-5 because of that dynamic of a team that wants to give you these switches and feels confident in their ability to switch 1-5, and Luka, who tends to over-index on that play style consistently.
All right, coming up on Locked On NBA, I have one more question out of this game. I want to know from Matt and Haize where this game ranks, because you got great performances out of not just Steph Curry. We really didn't talk about LeBron James at all, scoring 33 points in this game. I want to know where it ranks on their favorite games, memories between Curry and LeBron. Hopefully, it's not the last that we've seen of these two going head-to-head. Plus, John Morant back into the headlines for celebrations. We'll get into all of it on the other side. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Daylight savings snuck up on us again, and if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through, whether you're staying up late watching the remainder of the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just keeping up with your busy day. 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Don't let the long days wear you out. 5 Hour Energy helps you stay sharp, helps you stay focused, whether you're catching every moment of the tournament, getting outside for a hike, or tackling a packed schedule. It's small, it's convenient, it's ready whenever you are. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors. Do you know that? 5 Hour Energy, 15 flavors, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. Build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. Stock up today and stay energized. Today's episode is also brought to you by Wayfair. Spring is here, and that means it's home project season. Whether you're refreshing a room or tackling a full renovation, Wayfair is the best-kept secret for all things home improvement. From the small updates like stylish cabinet hardware, that's one of my favorite things to do to make it look like I've done big repairs in the house, just replace all the little hardwares. That's a little partner hack there. To major upgrades like new vanities, sinks, or outdoor lighting, Wayfair has quality products for every budget. I just upgraded my kitchen with Wayfair, and the selection was incredible. Their free and fast shipping made it so easy. No hauling heavy items from the store. I love that they have top brands like GE and Moen at great prices. Shopping was seamless, and I found exactly what I needed to fit my space and style. And up next, I need a kitchen island because I need some more shelf space. Wayfair makes home improvement easy. Get started now at wayfair.com. That's Wayfair, Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. More Locked On NBA ahead. Welcome back to Locked On NBA. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. Maybe it's your first watch on YouTube, youtube.com/@LockedOnNBA, where you can leave us your comments. I'm fascinated by Luka's performance and the possible implications on how we view the trade, although I think that conversation is best left to maybe how we see him perform in the postseason. But I am interested because this could be the last time we see Curry and LeBron go head-to-head, so I want to know, where does this game rank on your list of favorite Curry versus LeBron games or moments over their history, Matt?
Is it crazy that it's there's been so many that I don't know if it's top 10. Like that's how wild it is. There's so many amazing games. Like you go back to game 3 in 2015 when LeBron is so shorthanded and he wound up dragging out a win with that team. He drops a 40 bomb on them in that game. It was absolutely like incredible. You've got the insane performance in the game 1 of the 2018 with that one. An underrated one is Christmas Day 2016. That's a really underrated one when we go back. It's a 1-point victory by the Cavaliers over the Warriors. LeBron in that game KD had 36 in it. LeBron finishes with 31 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. Kyrie goes for 25. That was an instant classic on Christmas, the year after the Cavaliers had beaten the Warriors in the 2016 finals. And then obviously like every game of the last 3, I think were absolutely incredible from that matchup. There's so many, Haize. I don't know. Maybe this one cracks top 10 because it was a really good game, but God, there's been so many good ones.
There's been a lot. I mean, they every one of their matchups are amazing. You can go back to 2014 on February 12th, where LeBron James had 36, Steph had 29. I believe the Heat won that game. Like, there's just been so many really good games between these guys over the course of their career. That's why just make. Listen, I'm not for making anything happen, but Silver put in the call. We need the Lakers versus the Warriors.
Look, Haize, if Silver's putting in the call, this is not happening in the first round, buddy.
That's true.
This is Warriors-Lakers conference finals. That's the dream from Adam Silver.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get the script writers on the line. A question for another day. Curry, LeBron, where does that rank among, sort of head-to-head competitors in NBA history? Magic, Bird, Jordan, Thomas. We could probably get a couple more here off the top of our head, but that would be an interesting conversation as well. But we'll save that because we had another exciting moment last night from Ja Morant, who hit the game-winning shot to beat the Miami Heat, part of a dominant second half for Ja. It broke a 4-game, I believe, Grizzlies losing streak and a 10-game Heat winning streak. And then Ja Morant hit a gun celebration that the NBA reportedly just warned him about using after he and Buddy Hield exchanged fake fire on Wednesday night. In fact, he hit it after each of his 3 made 3-point shots. Sources told ESPN that the NBA ruled the celebrations were not intended to be violent in nature, but were inappropriate. Both teams were also, the Warriors and the Grizzlies, were issued warnings. Let's go to Locked On Grizzlies host and commercial appeal Grizzlies beat writer DeMichael Cole for his takeaway from the situation.
He's more confident in his own skin. I think that's the way to put it. After, he's been in the headlines again, are we going to see a Ja that's going to be a little bit more buttoned up? Or are you going to see hey, man, I'm still the same guy. Like, y'all ain't changing me. And I think it's more of the latter now. He is who he is. Ja Morant after the game had some really interesting comments about how he's responding to negative criticism. He said, I'm kind of used to it. I was pretty much, a villain for 2 years now. Every little thing, if somebody can say something negative about me, it's going to be out there. So yeah, I don't care anymore. Some people will see that and say, Ja just doesn't get it. Others will say he's being himself. I like to see it. At the end of the day, he's not in trouble. So look, confidence is one of the main factors of the game of basketball. We talk about it all the time. As a coach, you have to instill confidence in your players. You want your players to be confident. And that was a way of seeing Ja Morant's confidence carry over.
Okay, Haize, what do you think? Is this a case of Ja Morant not getting it and putting himself in danger of a suspension, or can this be spun into a positive for Morant and the Grizzlies?
I mean, he was just fined $75K. So, I think that he's definitely playing with fire if they're going to keep finding him for it. I don't agree with the league making this a thing personally, but if they are going to make it a thing and actually police it, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with players that aren't Ja Morant. We get the Ja and the stigma that comes around him and the things that he's done in the past. He's done a lot of stupid things, but the gun celebration for 3-point shots has been a part of basketball for a long time now. So you're going to fine everybody because there's going to be a lot of fines given out over the course of the next season if you hold this standard to everybody. So I like that Ja's being Ja and all that stuff, but if you're going to start finding him every time he does it, Ja's going to have to start correcting it especially if the league is going to hold that as a standard.
Ja being Ja doesn't mean that he has to thumb his nose at the league like this. Yeah. And it's not that I have a problem with thumbing your nose at the league. It's like this team is razor thin right now. It is on such thin ice of everything falling apart. And you are their best player, and you need to be the franchise leader right now and not cause, like, they don't need the distractions. They just don't need to deal with the questions and all the reading the headline. They don't need to deal with all that. Like, that's not what this team needs right now. And so I look, do I think it's an overreaction by the league? Absolutely. We talked about it yesterday. I said, like, they're called shooters. What are we doing here? Like, I get it. But then after you're warned to go out and do it, there's a difference here. Like, you can be Ja without going down like this. The other thing I don't like is this attitude, and Russell Westbrook has this too, of nothing I say is good enough. You guys are just going to say negative stuff. It's all bad. Ignoring all of the positive commentary that comes with being an NBA superstar and, oh, by the way, the money, in order to facilitate this idea, this pity party concept. Like, you put this attention on yourself with your actions. And if you want to make those decisions for yourself, you're an adult, you get to do that. But other guys deal with those consequences. Take care of your teammates. Chill out a little bit.
So, yeah, this news just coming down. The NBA fining Ja Morant $75,000 for the finger gun gestures. And, of course, he was suspended twice in 2023 and fined or lost $8.3 million in salary as a result of those suspensions that were over actual guns. So we'll continue to monitor this. I'm interested if the NBA is going to police this across the board, because we've seen a number of Grizzlies do this. We've seen Dyson Daniels do this. I believe he did that in an opposing bench. So I don't know how the NBA is going to handle this. Matt, you're shaking your head no. You think this is all about Ja Morant because of the previous incidents?
Yeah, it's just different. You have a guy that was suspended for his off-court, on-camera activity with guns. And what he did was not what Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton did. But Gilbert Arenas did. I believe Gilbert Arenas, when he came back, did a pregame celebration involving guns. And I'm pretty sure the league suspended him for it. Like, you can't. Well, I would just say, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna flip the bird of the league, they're gonna respond in kind. Just is.
All right, coming up on Locked On NBA, we've got some exciting matchups tonight. Thunder, Rockets, Warriors, Nuggets. And according to Steve Kerr, everyone's going to play for the Warriors, so that should be fascinating. I want to know which one of these matchups Matt and Haize are more looking forward to. Plus, the KD rumors, they're not going away. Is Mike Budenholzer, the coach of the Phoenix Suns, is he going to get caught up in that as well? That's ahead on Locked On NBA. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by OpenPhone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customer calls day and night. And once your team starts growing, managing it all from one number, it's totally unrealistic. It's almost impossible. That's where OpenPhone comes in. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and your personal life separate. For just $15 a month, the cost of a few cups of coffee, you get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. OpenPhone works through an app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. Plus, it uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries so that you have a rundown of your calls and your action items the second that you hang up. And if you miss a call, no worries. Automated messages go straight to your customer so that you never miss a chance to connect. That means more business. Right now, OpenPhone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's OpenPhone.com/LockedOnNBA. Openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you've got numbers with another service, no worries. They'll port them over at no extra charge. More Locked On NBA ahead. All right, so I mentioned Thunder and Rockets facing off tonight. If everyone plays, it's going to be a matchup of two of the NBA's best defenses. How much should voters award OKC for that great team defense? Here's Locked On Thunder's Rylan Stiles with his answer.
All-time great defense. Lou Dort is at the head of the snake the entire way. You don't want to tread on the snake. The entire way, they are historically great. There's some guys who don't qualify, right? Chet's not going to qualify. Caruso's not going to qualify. Hartenstein's not going to qualify. At a minimum, this team should have Lou, J-Dub, and Kaysen as an all-defensive member. There's 2 all-defensive teams. The Thunder should get 3 of the 2 all-defensive team spots.
All right, let's play a little chance, not a chance. Only 2 options here. We live on the extremes. No time for nuance here in the content farm. Chance, not a chance. The OKC Thunder get 3 players on the NBA all-defense team. Haize.
I'd give it the best chance that it's probably ever been because they have 3 players that definitely deserve to be on the all-defensive team. That's not a question. They definitely deserve to be on it. I just don't know. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. Have we ever seen that before?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I would say it's probably extremely rare. Maybe Pistons 04, maybe. Okay. I'd have to go back and check.
I'll look it up. So, Matt, what do you think? Chance, not a chance?
I mean, definitely a chance. I will go further. They should have 5 guys on all defense teams.
What? Well, 2 of them don't qualify. So are you just saying that we should just not have those qualifications? Or are you saying there's 2 other players other than Caruso and Hartenstein that should be on the team?
All right. Caruso and Hartenstein don't count. I would go Dort, J-Dub, Shea, Kaysen, Wallace.
You got one more?
Does Chet qualify?
I don't think Chet's going to qualify either because he missed a ton of games at the beginning of the season.
Then I'll go 4. Those 4 guys should make it.
All right.
And honestly, I think you can make a case for Aaron Wiggins. Like,
you can.
And I will tell you this, I haven't watched a lot of Thunder film because I'm doing this case for Shea. J-Dub's incredible. Like, he is an insane defender. On ball, off ball, everywhere. Pass deflections, disruptions, ISO lockdowns, pick and roll defense. J-Dub is so much better than I thought he was. Way better.
Who do you have as the best defender, J-Dub or Dort?
Okay, the difference here is like there's better defender and then there's who's had the better season. Dort's the better defender, and that's why I think he's DPOY.
Okay.
I think J-Dub might have had the better season just in terms of like he's in such a position always to play free safety and does so much stuff. It's insane. Go watch J-Dub defensively sometime. It is berserk how good he is.
Okay, I've done some research, and I don't know if it's the last time that it's happened, but I do have an instance where 3 players made the first. In fact, they made the first all-defense team, not just the first and the second. It was 95-96. Those Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, and Scottie Pippen.
Jordan, come on now. Jordan had pulled.
That wasn't Jordan's best defensive year, but I'm glad that it happened, though.
I'll give you Scottie and Dennis Rodman there, but come on now. Jordan, that's just him being MJ.
All right. Well, let's move on and talk about the Phoenix Suns and their hopes of a play-in berth right now. They're dwindling, but the KD rumors, they are definitely not. Shams Charania said this on NBA Today, quote, back at the NBA trade deadline in February, Minnesota, Miami, New York, San Antonio, and Houston were among the teams there was mutual interest between Durant and those teams. I expect those teams and potentially others to be back in the fray this summer, unquote. Locked on Suns host Brendan Clean says there's a chance that he stays, but it's very complicated.
Book saying he would love to play with Kevin next season. Not exactly a surprise. Of course he would. Who wouldn't? And I guess in theory, I mean, I put it at 5 to 10% chance that Durant would stay put. It's not a sure thing that he's gone. But here's the thing you have to ask yourself, right? Is there a pathway to genuinely look yourself in the mirror? If you're Matt Ishbia, if you are Josh Bartlestein, if you are James Jones, or maybe somebody who might replace James Jones, can you look yourself in the mirror with what you have on the table in your war chest of assets and say, we can go into next season feeling like we have a better chance next season than what this year has been, which is an abject failure that is likely to result in missing the play-in, let alone the playoffs.
Okay, so what do you think? Both on the KD rumors, but also I'd like to talk about this universe where KD stays in Phoenix with Booker and Mike Budenholzer as coach? Because we also have this. Sources told The Ringer that Durant was pleading with his coach to simplify the team's offensive concepts to something better suited to the Suns' younger players. We obviously had the very visible confrontation between the two that we talked about earlier in the season. Is there a universe where all of these guys stay and Mike Budenholzer continues to be the coach, or are Bud's days numbered, Matt?
I think they're numbered. I think there's a assumption around the league that Mike Budenholzer is going to be gone, which is going to be crazy because they're going to be paying Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, and Bud all on long-term contracts. That's a ton of money. But if Durant's gone, there's no reason to keep Bud. If Durant returns, why would he return if Bud's still the coach? I don't think I don't think Durant wants Bud fired. I just don't think it's working, and I think they're going to have to make those moves. If you're retaining Booker and Durant, you have to change something. And as the Grizzlies know, the thing you change is the coach, Haize.
Yeah, I don't want to live in the universe where they keep Kevin Durant because I just don't know if that changes much. But, I mean, if that's what they decide to do, if that is a legitimate option here, I think Coach Bud has to be the one. One of them has to be gone, if not both of them, this offseason. So I still personally hold out hope that the Suns just do whatever they can to kind of reset their deck completely because I just don't know how they turn this around. I know that they started off the season really good, so maybe they hope that maybe that glimmer can actually become more consistent for them with different coaching, but I think this thing is cooked. What did I call it when we did the cook thing? Overcooked brisket. There's no saving it. It's done. It's beef jerky.
Give up the ghost.
So correct me if I'm wrong. That would mean if they fired Bud and hired another coach, they would be paying 4 coaches: Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, Budenholzer, and then whoever ends up being the coach.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Well, they say money can't buy everything, but it can certainly buy a lot of coaches. All right. Favorite things of the week. It's how we wrap up the week every Friday. Haize, what was your favorite thing of the NBA week?
My favorite thing of the NBA week was Kobe White being named as the Eastern Conference Player of the Month. I know I always tend to go to Bulls things here, but it was such a monumental thing to happen. We haven't had one since DeMar DeRozan. And Kobe White is coming into the season. Consistency was the thing that he needed to work on. He's been thrust into the number 1 scoring option with the departure of Zach LaVine. And it's been really good to see Kobe just grow as a player. And I know how hard he works. I've seen him work at the Advocate Center before. This guy's one of the first guys to show up. He's one of the first guys to leave. So Kobe White winning Eastern Conference Player of the Week is definitely my favorite thing of the week.
Matt?
Winning Player of the Month in the month of March being their favorite thing is sad. That just makes me sad.
I'm a Chicago Bulls fan, Matt. That's all I got.
Last Friday, Michael Malone's been working with the Special Olympics crew for years. The Nuggets have as a group. And a girl named Gertie took the opening free throw shot that he's worked with in the Special Olympics, and she nailed it. And Malone's face of absolute joy and exultation when that happened is one of the happier moments, I think, of a tough season for Michael Malone. And it was just really cool to see that connection between a head coach in the NBA and a special community outreach program. So way to go, Gertie. And that was my favorite thing of the week.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. My favorite thing of the week, very late entry, but it comes from an institution in the NBA, Kevin Harlan, and it happened last night on the call for the Warriors and the Lakers. Let's take a listen.
Are you tired of saying good, my friend?
No! Just effortlessly goes into that. I loved it. That was on Brandon Pajemski's 8th 3-point make. So he had said good a lot up to that point. Also, by the way, I continue to do research, and the 04-05 all-defense team had 3 from the same team. Ben Wallace from the Pistons, Tayshaun Prince, and Chauncey Billups. So, Matt, you nailed that one. And I'm not sure if that's the last one because that's all the time that I had to do the research. That's all the time we have on this episode of Locked On NBA. If you like what you heard today, if you like what you heard this week, subscribe to Locked On NBA. Tell a friend and subscribe wherever you get podcasts, including on YouTube. Thanks to Matt and Haize for their expertise this week. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Enjoy this weekend's action. Be kind to each other. We'll see you right back here next week on Locked On NBA.